Yobachi 2007 back at you with another one. We're going to take a look at this Luka Donna Anthony Davis trade. Now, we don't normally cover sports here at this channel per se. We cover and work on men's mind state over here. And so I think there are some lessons in this situation for men that we can derive some value from. We know all the stats and the accolades of Luka, so we're not going to go over all those. But you have to ask and wonder why would a team choose to take a player has the capabilities of what we're watching right here, who's done all he's done, got them to the championship series last year, is 25 years old, in his prime. Why would they want to get rid of him right now? And while they traded him definitely for another top player, there was probably more out there in the open market where they could have gotten another All NBA player and probably more draft picks or other significant players if they would have waited till the off season. Why did they feel the need to get rid of this guy now? And what does that tell us about Luca? And what does that tell us about ourselves? And why they would want to get rid of this guy after he just got them to the title and put on the kind of playoff performance that he was able to put on last year. Well, part of it can be seen in this highlight reel as opposed to the other. The first was a reel of his spectacular offense. But just as good of a player as Luka is on offense, he's equally as bad of a player on defense. And as you can see here, he often just doesn't even try. His weight has been what it's been for years, and it's not getting any better. Again, he's a complete liability, and for all the scoring he can do, he tends to just give it right back in big games against big time players who have any team that has basically more than one scoring threat. Maybe they can mask Luca's weakness with one guy, but if you got two guys out there, uh, who can really score, or even if not, just the guy who Luca is on is going to be able to cut to the basket and make moves and make plays because he's often out of position. He's not trying, he's disengaged on the defensive end. And it clearly has been a problem for the Mavs and their brass for a long time. And it's been a long time of trying to get Luca to come along. All right. Luka's not only just been in the NBA for what, 6 years now, 6, 7 years. He was a pro athlete before he came to the United States. So he's been a professional athlete for about 10 years. Do people who've done something for 10 years in year 11 all of a sudden change? If you can't get them to change for 10 years, do you expect that they're all of a sudden going to change in the middle of year 10 or in year 11? Then there's the whole thing I said, like we said, with his weight. They've been wanting him to get that down. He's been injured a lot. There are a lot of problems there. And I think that Luca was basically giving them the oh, hi ho, hey, I'm Luca. I'm me. I do what I do. And I'm not really going to try too hard to change anything. And, they looked at that and kind of said, okay, you're going to do what you want to do. We got something for that. We can see here when the Mavericks clinched the NBA Finals and clinched in the NFC Western Conference Championship to go to the finals. Luka decided to have a beer drink in the locker room in front of the media. We see the general manager. We'll see the general manager is going to come in here and see what he thinks of Luka's beer drinking. Of course, he takes the beer from him immediately. Luka's looking like, man, come on, what's the problem? Whatever, whatever you think. I'm doing me the way I do me because look at the spectacular points that I'm putting up. Look at the spectacular offense that I'm bringing to the game. But they're looking at all the liabilities and saying, hey, there's a ceiling with this guy. And I think what we can kind of look at for men is when you're in position to accomplish and do certain things and you feel like, hey, I'm the man, I run things, I'm putting on like this, I can do what I want even in somebody else's institution. What are you going to do without me? I don't have to listen to anybody. I don't have to be accountable as long as I feel like I'm bringing in the numbers at my job. I'm the top mechanic. I'm the top sales guy. Whatever. I'm going to do it my way on your platform. I'm going to do it my way in your business. And no matter how frustrated you get with me, basically it's going to be a look and a shoulder shrug. And I'm just going to keep on doing what I want. And I believe that's pretty much what happened behind the scenes here with Luke. In addition, I think that they were worried that he's going to slowly become the next Zion Williams, and not just slowly. Really, he's kind of eating himself the way there. And they said, "Hey, you wouldn't for the last many years uh, take off any weight, get in shape, try to reduce injury, try to up your defense. You wouldn't do any of that for $200 million. Next year, we're going to owe you over $300 million on a supermax contract. Is the propensity for somebody to start to listen when they won't listen when they make less money? Do they get more money and then start listening? We can just look at Ben Simmons just in the last few years and get a clear answer on how that can be expected to go. But they I think they're worried that he was going to continue to go in the way of Zion, who we all know.
He looks fat. He looks fat.
Look like me and Shaq had a baby.
Yeah, hilarious. They're looking at him dismissing them and seeing him getting this ton of money and thinking, hey,
Like,
this is our
From
future.
being one of the greatest
Once he gets his money, this is our future. He's not listening or motivated to do any better now. And with his supermax coming at the end of the season, this is what we're looking at with the team as it is now. With him being such a weak link defensively, giving back everything that he's giving offensively, just giving it right back. When you get late into the playoffs against the best teams, definitely the championship, thinking there's no way we're going to ultimately win, and we have a better shot if we can get a guy who's an offensive and defensive player and have a 1-2 punch front court, back court with Kyrie Irving, then we can actually have a chance to win it all and not just have spectacular stat sheets and maybe even go deep in the playoffs, but we're never going to be able to accomplish it all with the lack of dedication that we're getting from Luka as our main guy. And so they decided to make another choice as well. They probably asked him to get into a training program, get on a training regimen, get on a dietary regimen, do some things we want you to do. And he was probably like, nah, I'm good. I ain't got to do that because I do this on the court. So I ain't got to do that. I'm good. I'm not doing it. And they was like, okay, we got something for that. We got something for I'm not going to do that. And what they had for it was they decided to go get this guy. They said he can do enough of what we need offensively, but he can also bring it defensively to go along with it. And maybe that's what we should go with to have the opportunity to try to complete this thing and take it all the way home and win now and not get ourselves locked into 5 years of somebody who looks like this. Well, he's playing like that, but come on. When he's wobbling across the court like this, and he only plays 47% of the games that he could play, this is the kind of motivation that we're seeing. And again, the lessons for men here are once you get yourself in position, you got to maintain your position. You can't just get there and then think that when I'm on somebody else's territory, that I can just slack off, do whatever I want, not continue to make efforts, not continue to strive to get to the finish line. That, hey, I'm the man, so then I just do whatever I want and that I can just stay in position. And there's a rule in business: if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. It's really a financial fact that you can't just hold what you got. You'll literally start financially falling backwards if your revenue is not growing. That's why, with economies, we're talking about growth economies. If you have to grow, else by definition, you're automatically starting to recess That's just the way money works factually. It's not even like an opinion or a theory. That's what exactly happens. And so, if we wanted to maximize our opportunities in life, we have to continue to push forward, even when we think we've arrived. Because once you've gotten there, then you've got to do still hard work to stay there. And Zion hasn't done that. And I think the Mavs were worried we're going to give this guy well over $300 million, and he's going to do the same thing. He's just going to take the money and be satisfied with getting his numbers, but his numbers are not going to get our organization a championship. So, looking at how much Luka would lose, a lot of people are saying this $116 million. That's not exactly right because the supermax is for 5 years. The deal that he can sign with the Lakers, the best deal he can sign with the Lakers, he can't get that supermax on a new team. He could only get that supermax contract with a team he's currently been with before this new contract comes up for a certain amount of time. So he will not have been with the Lakers long enough to be eligible for a supermax. So he's only eligible for this 4 year extension instead of a 5 year. So with that, I asked AI, this is a Copilot Bing's AI. I actually just put the math problem in because I wanted to see how much per year was he making in one contract, going to be able to make in one contract versus the other, and then multiply that times 4 years so we can get a direct comparison. Because this 116 million is comparing 5 years to 4 years. But you could say, no, he's losing that fifth year too, because who's to say he's gonna make up that amount in the fifth year? But you could pretty much bet he will, but he's not gonna have it guaranteed. Um, so I just put the formula in, and it took it a step further and actually read what I was doing and wrote it out in the actual year. So the 345 years divided by 5 years, that means he would be getting $69 million a year under the supermax if he was able to stay with the Mavericks. But because he decided he's doing his own thing, he's not listening to nobody. He doesn't have to do what anybody asks him to do. Instead, in this contract that he has, he's going to make a lot less per year. But that 69 million times 4 years instead of five came out to be 276 million, and he's only going to be eligible to make 229 now with the Lakers. That means he lost 47 million just over the 4 years alone, but possibly up to 116 if his extension next contract doesn't make some more of that up. So he lost tens of millions of dollars just so he could eat and not have to get down in the squat and play defense because he felt like I'm the guy and that's all I got to do is be the guy and that's it. But again, for men's mind state, we got to understand once you've arrived, you've got to continue to strive, else you can lose your position. And in this case, losing your position is costing him tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, that's all I got for today. About your 2007. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we out on this one. Peace.